victims of the Grenfell Tower fire have met the Prime Minister in Downing Street to discuss their demands amid growing anger in the wake of the blaze. A man representing the group said they would make a full statement in the community about their demands and what we expect. Theresa May met the residents, victims, volunteers and community leaders on Saturday afternoon. She earlier chaired a government task force to respond to the disaster. Earlier, First Secretary of State Amian Green said the Prime Minister was as distraught as anyone about the fire. He described criticism of Mrs. May's response to the disaster as terribly unfair. The Prime Minister faced cries of "coward" and "shame on you" when she returned to the scene on Friday, having not met victims on her first visit. Mr. Green said she has the same degree of sympathy and horror at these events that we all have. Hundreds of protesters have gathered in Whitehall, calling for the Prime Minister's resignation. Shadow Minister Angela Rayner was among those addressing the crowd. Hundreds of protesters also marched on Whitehall on Friday, angry at the government's handling of the disaster. Chris Imafidon, whose home overlooks Grenfell Tower, addressed the crowd and held up a poster of a missing child and a piece of scorched cladding. "I am not here because I support the Tories, Labour, or Liberals," he said. "I am here because this child, on Tuesday, went to bed and now nobody knows where this child is." Another protester described Mrs. May as cold like a fish. In an interview with BBC Newsnight on Friday, Mrs. May said the government was doing all it could to help. "The government is making money available. We are ensuring we are going to get to the bottom of what has happened. We will ensure that people are rehoused. We need to make sure that actually happens." Mr. Green said a 5 meters fund would be for the immediate needs of victims, adding that other money